calling you a radical. So, in Vienna, Austria has sued the EU. Thank you, in Austria. One of the greatest dirtbags who ever walked the face of the... I pissed on his grave. So, no endeavor that is worthwhile is simple in prospect. If it is right, it will be simple in retrospect. Not so simple, Mr. Teller. Not so simple. Nuclear energy is clean. What about this process? What about this? Do you even know about that? Do you even know about that? Let's replace the sun. Bring you. How about this? Do you know about this? That's the shirt. I will sell this $240,000. This is the replacement generator on the accident sent off me. This is it. Sent to me by the people that whistle blew inside to me, and then I put it into the internet. This is it. This is the shirt. This thing's so rare, so valuable. They sent it to me. So, not so simple in retrospect, Mr. Teller. Fucking Oppenheimer wouldn't go along. None of them would go along. So they found fucking good puppet fucking thieves. That's all they are. Fucking the IA is going to save you. Did they tell you about Fukushima? Did they tell you about Fukushima? Did they tell you about Fukushima? Did they? Did they? Huh. Nuclear energy is not so bad. Really? Really? It's not fucking green. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. You dirtbags keep bailing them out. Let's talk about them being green. Let's start from the beginning. Okay? First off, let's walk in here and get a real look at what nuclear energy is. Nuclear energy is death. Nuclear energy is death. It's cancer. It's cancer. It's death. That's exactly what it is. It's death. So, as you know, I've been battling AML leukemia for 10 years without a transplant, too sick for transplant. So, that's what it is. It's death. So, nuclear energy. Clean, green. Let's start from the beginning. Nuclear energy, should we go boil some water on the stove? All they are is water boilers. Yeah, we should do that. I'll do a couple of these. Scientists are mystified. The cover-up of Fukushima, the consequences are gargantuous. So, nuclear energy. Let's start from the beginning. All they are is water boilers. First, you mine uranium. Uranium-238, natural from the earth, yes, for millions of years of lightning strikes. Okay, they mine it. That's not what's in a nuclear energy reactor. Uranium-238 is not what's in a nuclear energy reactor. That's not what's in one. That's not what it's in one. What's in a nuclear energy reactor? Uranium-235. So they mine the uranium-238, leave the tailings, which are radioactive, toxic, poison. Well, we all know what mining tailings are, how disgusting they are. Then they have to go to the ignition center, where I just showed you. They have to come here and centrifuge it. They have a centrifuge facility. God, for peace, please. Yeah, we've had a lot of peace since these guys were freaking come along, haven't we? So, the centrifuge process, they have to throw gas to it. Get your pot on your stove. These dirtbags. Free money. Now, Los Alamos was the Department of Energy, which was called, in originality, in post-war, was called the Department of... I got this in La Jolla at the thrift store, by the way. The Department of Nuclear Energy. It was 100% invented to promote nuclear energy. Still is that. That's what it is. They just changed their name department. It's the Department of Nuclearism. Jeff Bezos' grandfather, guys. Jeff Bezos' mother was 14 years old. She got pregnant. The guy who got her pregnant is charged with statutory rape. She married Ted Cruz's dad's partner. Bad pigs. Ted Cruz, I need to see his birth certificate. He wasn't born in the United States. They're Bezos, bad pigs. So, I mean, these lines all trace back. So they have to take it to, they used to take it to Kentucky, so it got hit by the tornado. They take it to Illinois, they take it to Bruce in Canada, they take it to Los Alamos, and they hex it. They pump gas into it. They put in this uranium-238, these giant amounts of it, into these giant cylinders. They spin it. Centrifugal force. Why they're spinning it, they have to pump this nasty, nasty gas that comes from the earth that is tweaked. It's really a toxic poison. It's called hex gas. It's really, really nasty. One of the nastiest things in the world. They pump it into it and they spin it. Fission, fusion, same thing. They salt reactors, they're the same bullshit. Split the atom, collide the atom. When the atom either splits or collides, it bursts or splits and it opens up and releases an unforeseen energy bringing star-powered Earth. The sun can give you cancer from 93 million miles away. Fukushima's 3 suns are just right next door. Who are you? Who are you? Got steam. Got steam. We'll do another one of these with boiling some water on our stove, because that's all they are. They're water boilers. So, hell of a way to boil a planet. Kevin Blanche, March 11th, 2012. So, it leaves a 98.6% byproduct. You heard me right. So, it splits and it starts to separate. It creates an energy. They have to capture that energy. Well, they capture it, which is uranium-235, but in the meantime, it creates all kinds of new, what we call free radicals. What's a free radical? A cancer cell and a cell after the split of the atom that goes rogue. Plutonium, californium, tennessium. I mean, all these deadly, deadly heavy metals. It creates it. It's natural. They're man-made. What do they do with them? They try to capture them, and they try to store them in tailings piles, in dry cask containers. The byproduct, again, is 98.6%. So they take it, then they make pellets out of it. Western Zirconium's right behind my house. Maybe I'll drive out there and do another one at Western Zirconium. Who went bankrupt? Westinghouse. I mean, or even bankrupt. They're all bankrupt, but they're all state-funded. TAS, Provad in Russia, the Big Z. Well, what do you think it is here? This is the biggest scam perforated on the people of the world in world history. Thank you in Austria. Thank you in Austria. This is one of the shirts that I protest with. I have several of these that they're real, by the way, given to me by I got these shirts from the attorney from the IEA in Vienna, the Blanche box. I have the Blanche box. So, Karen Silkwood, they have a facility in Illinois, Honeywell, and by hand, people with gloves go in there, and they make these pellets, and they stuff these pellets into these 7-foot rods, and they're 21 to a bundle, and these bundles, and they stuff these little pellets in there, Karen Silkwood, into these rods. Okay? Then these rods go in these bundles, they go into this core, and they go into a reactor, and they surround this core. And they create this incredible heat source. Then water pours over the top of this heat source, and it boils the water. The steam rises up and turns the turbines. It's that simple. But the problem is they stay hot, where enough energy can be produced by these 210 per bundle rods, which are moldable rods. You know, I think there's something like 1,400 per assembly. And every 18 months they have to be exchanged out. They're still radioactive forever. Well, hundreds of thousands of years. So by crane, they pull them out, and they're going to put them in a repository at Yucca Mountain. Well, they stick them in WIP, a lot of them, which right here, Western Zirconium, Fucking Peterson Fabricators container blew up a whip right here, far west Utah. They got a camera and they told us it was a salt truck. No, it wasn't. It was a dry cast container. And they were picking up plutonium in the dishes at UTEP. Back when we had RadNet. You know, after Gina McCarthy had crashed RadNet when Fukushima happened. So, tomorrow is today. Tomorrow is today. Fukushima, you're still waiting for the main event. So they pick them up. There's no repository. Well, we pay a fine to these people. And these are not public utilities. Guess who owns the nuclear reactors? Google owns Diablo Canyon. Look it up. Apple, these big corporations. You got it. Bill Gates, you got it. Jeff Bezos, all these people. And we pay a fine to them. Because by law, the Congressional Act, we were supposed to have a repository built by 1970. We kicked the can. By law. We've never done it. So they store them on site. So they've had to build swimming pools because they have to stay cool. So they have these big cranes come in there and pull them out. And then they stick them in these swimming pools. Now, when they were doing this, there was time to replace the generator. It's San Onofre. Now, I know everybody in San Onofre. I've been protesting. My dad was freaking there. My dad was nuked to death there, San Onofre Marine. I've been at San Onofre my whole life inside that reactor, and they all know me personally well. And I've been battling and fighting. And I was full of leukemia, and they were starting to leak this stuff to me. The 2010-2011 exchange. Secretly, they bought in a secret generator, and Jerry Moonbeaver Brown, all of them. If you don't believe me, go ask Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris raided Peavy's house with the California Highway Patrol and raided his house and found all the goods. They were in Warsaw, Poland, of all places, chopping up the money. They were saving $100 million by cheating on the generator. They found a $100 million generator that was $100 million cheaper than the Hitachi generator that they were supposed to use. GG. From Japan. They brought it in by ship and they couldn't get it retrofit, and so the pipe fitters were cheating and trying to jerry-rig it. And it blew up. It backed up. And some guys inside shot videos of it leaking water, and they were duct taping it in the whole works trying to get because it was active. So they were trying to put this generator and leave one active. So it backed up into the core. What happens when it backs up the core? It blows up the big Z, all 6 of them, with no external power. Why do they have to have external power sources? Because that power is not going out. The power is going in. The big Z is not producing energy. It's coming in. Well, where do they get all this energy to keep these spent fuel pools? From coal and natural gas-fired plants. That's right. We could be all solar. We could be also California. You go to the San Onofre parking lot. I'm the first guy that started shooting videos about that years and years ago, and I just look, they don't even believe in it. They have solar power. Solar panels all over the San Onofre employee parking lots. So it backed up into the core. Well, they have one option. There's a valve. They opened the valve and radiated all over San Clemente. All over you. Jet stream moves left to right. That was on January 30th, 2012. I was in the bone marrow transplant at LDS going in and out of a coma that night. I almost died that night. I came to and I leaked that all on the internet because they're like, Kevin, we can't do it. They still are keeping their name secret to this day. You do it. And I says, yeah, they're not going to come into this bone marrow transplant center and arrest me. Let them try. Go for it. These things worth so much money. I need money. I got to raise money. I'm broke. So, clean. So what do we do with all this waste? It's spent in swimming pools, and they're never built. So more and more, so they have to build another swimming pool. There's swimming pools on top of swimming pools on top of swimming pools. These swimming pools at Diablo Canyon, this is my work. They're Mach 1, Mach 2 generator, just like, so is this one, just like at Fukushima. Nuclear reactors on the Ring of Fire. Lessons unlearned. The IA, did they tell you about Fukushima? Yeah, they're going to tell you about the big Z, aren't they? So, who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. So, Edward Teller, the greatest scumbag who ever walked the face of the earth. They keep a secret where he's buried, but I know where it's at. He's buried at Stanford. That's fitting, right? So these dirt bags, it's free money. We have a congressional act called Price-Anderson. So the Department of Energy was 100% money, which is billions and trillions, and Bill Gates, all these people know this. These little SMRs, there's no such thing as an SMR. There's never been one, and there never will be. But they free money. Then they have a congressional act that was passed in the late 1950s called Price-Anderson. It's called the Immunity Act, which basically says if you have money, anything nuclear, and it goes wrong, you don't have to pay it back. You heard me right. The American taxpayer. Stephen Bechtel on the Hill. Where's your Bechtel mug? Coffee mug. Stephen Bechtel on the Hill. Well, you were paid to put triple liners around Hanford, and you didn't do it. He threw it right back on Congress. Yeah, we didn't do it. What'd you do with the money? We spent the money to hire PR firms to attack anti-nuclear energy activists. The DOE who murdered my father, the drafting Marine, marched him into the desert and human lab ratted him in Air Blast 1 and nuked him to death, who tried to make a sequel out of me, hired teams of trolls. This is an unarguable fact. Hired teams of trolls. There were literally dozens of Facebook pages and YouTube sites 10 years ago. 100% to slander Kevin Blanch. My name on them, everything just, they were vicious. To the point people were calling me, threatening me. I was in California walking the trail while doing tide pole work, and a guy in North County, near San Onofre, and a guy pulled a gun on me. And he was going to shoot me. It was just us two out there. He tracked me down because I was doing YouTube videos where I was saying, and I told him, dude, you better not miss. I will take that gun away from you and I'll make you piss your pants. You got me? And I got right in his face and I put the fear of God in him. And he ran. They're pussies. The nuclear industry, they're cowards. They're the biggest cowards on the face of the earth. This is what they do. There's no answer for the waste. It's stored on site. It's swim pool after swim pool. And these Mach 1, Mach 2s my work, when I was the bigwig at Weber State University, which is GE, which is the Wattis Construction, which is General Electric, which is the nuclear industry. I got blackballed for taking one. We were the #1 school business in the country. By the way, they just gave Child's Award. We went from the #1 school business in the country to 500. And for homecoming at Weber State, they gave Bill Childs freaking an award, who ruined our school business. Him and Warren Buffett bought our school business. R.C. Willey's supply chain. That's an unarguable fact. So that's what Weber State does, them scumbags. They award for failure. We go from the #1 school business in the United States when I taught there, and I got blackballed for taking them on. I wrote paper after paper after paper showing Mach 1, Mach 2 reactors could not handle a 7.8 earthquake on the Richter scale. It wasn't a tsunami at Fukushima. The shake broke those cores open. When them cores open, it's on. Forget about it. The spent fuel pools can only handle about a 7.6. They crack open, the water runs off them, then they go into what we call invisible Zerk fires. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you might get some smoke, and then they go into meltdown, full blown out meltdown. They're active. We have hundreds of millions of pounds of it all over the world, hundreds of millions of pounds of it. There's nowhere to put it. Stick it in a hole? So it's stored on site. Angela Merkel's a nuclear physicist. And everybody's like, they had 20 reactors, they're down to 3. Japan had 58, they're down to 1. And they're going to sit and tell you, we had 424, and they're going to say, well, there's still 420 something new. No, there's not. There's 286. The United States are going to tell you we went from 104 to 94. When we've shut down well over 30. Pilgrim, Yankee, San Onofre. We can go on and on and on. Oyster Creek, Duane Arnold, Calhoun. We can go on and on and on. Indian Point, all shut down. They all have multiple reactors. We're down into the freaking 60s. This one would have been gone, but you in Ohio, and you wonder why the Browns can't win a fucking game. Just like the Jazz. The Jazz were energy solutions, and you wonder why they could never win a game. With the best record all through the 90s and all of sport, but they lost every big game. Just like the Cleveland Browns. First energy, they got busted. These guys got busted for freaking bribes. For bribes. Clean, green. Okay. It's the most filthy, disgusting, dirty nightmare on the face of the earth. You're all right. Thank you in Vienna. I love you guys. You are the best. The Austrians are the greatest. Hope to be back there soon. Thank you for freaking filing suit. It's not green. It's the opposite. The dirtiest, filthiest, nastiest shit on earth. We'll do another one. We'll boil some water. Thank you in Austria. I love you. Stay tuned.